happened.
Let's talk to lawyer Nick Freeman now about this, because Nick, you're very familiar with the way this works. The first thing to say is that it seems as if the sentence for Huw is in line with other sentences for other people who've done similar things. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's important to remember in this case that the distributor only got a suspended sentence, and the starting point for a distributor for the more serious type of pictures is 3 years. In Huw Edwards' case, he was charged just with possession, and 7 of the pictures were of the most serious type. And the starting point for him is 12 months, and the range is 26 months custody to 3 years. Now, what's interesting is, so we're looking at custody and there's no reason to suspend it. But then if you look carefully at the sentencing guidelines, it does say if there is a realistic prospect of rehabilitation, then we don't need to send someone to custody either for a short period or even for a moderate period. They can be dealt with a sexual offenders order and requiring them to do work for the community, not even a suspended sentence. So if you fit certain criteria, and bearing in mind most of the people who are convicted of these type of offences are middle-aged males who haven't got previous convictions, who are obviously very sorry, they're caught red-handed, they plead guilty, they're very happy to undertake any form of rehabilitation, they're not going to go to prison because they tick those boxes. And the problem we've got here is we've got 7 to 9 year old boys who are providing a market, and we need to kill the market. So the sentencing guidelines need to be looked at so that, in fact, there is a serious deterrent, because without the deterrent, this market's going to continue to flourish, and that's exactly what's happening at the moment.
One of the things that I couldn't quite work out, Nick, was that in amongst the mitigations is this thing of he's, lived a previously upstanding life and he doesn't have any criminal convictions and he's got a great career and people look up to him and so on. Now, all of that seems to me aggravating. It's not a mitigation. It's like when a teacher is accused of grooming a child, it's far more serious than when it's an ordinary punter who does it.
Well, I agree with you, Jeremy, because there's a huge breach of trust here. And of course, Huw Edwards was in a position, he was the anchorman of the BBC, and he's betrayed the trust of the BBC, the public. Everyone looked up to him, they admired him, and they had a reasonable expectation that he was going to be a man who would uphold integrity and values. And they've been bitterly betrayed. And breach of trust is, in fact, an aggravating feature that doesn't appear to have aggravated this particular case. The judge has looked carefully at the sentencing guidelines. He's pleaded guilty at an early stage, so he should get a third discount. He appears to have had more than that. So in my view, the judge has got it right, but the sentencing guidelines are wrong. And I think we as a society need to work out, do we want to stamp out this vile trade? And if we do, we need to have serious deterrent sentences. And as long as you say, look, I'm sorry, I want to rehabilitate, this vile trade is going to continue to grow in the way that it is at the moment. We're never going to stamp it out.
Thank you.
And we'll make it, and that's my view.
Thank you very much, Nick Freeman, for joining us, as always. Thank you. Beverly.